On the raw module, I think it's still under study, but the idea is to have a full raw sensor, like a 5.7K raw picture, but also a crop in the sensor to have a real 4K raw picture up to 60p. We also have an infrared filter that can be removed directly from a button.
Oh.
And maybe for the mount, it is possible that we have also a PL mount or some other mounts that we can change without an adapter.
Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Moving conversations about moving images with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by Blackmagic Design, Kessler Crane, Panasonic, and Schneider, in association with Sony. This is your host, Nino.
So what does the badge Varicam say then? Because it seems like this camera has almost everything you want, and it's still not called Varicam. And you were even wearing Varicam shirts. So.
Yeah. Okay. Today we are here because of Cinegear, and we are exhibiting all our Varicam lineup. So, of course, Varicam is still a very important part of our business, and you saw that we are very serious about this whole productions business, and that's why we have also several people from Europe coming over to US and working closely on developing further opportunities for this. And the EVA is actually one more camera than on top of the Varicam lineup to fit the needs, depending on the production itself.
I think some of our competitors call their camera, mini.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the mini has the same feature as the big one. And for the EVA, we don't want people to think that it's like a Varicam but smaller.
Yeah.
Because you don't have all the feature. In the Varicam, we have an internal grading system. We have a bit more, of course. Otherwise, it could be surprising.
Also, the EVA1 has a pretty remarkable slow motion functionality, right?
Yeah, we decided to do the crop, to crop in the sensor to have a 240 frames per second in HD or 2K. And we will have also so we don't talk about the internal recording, but the nice thing is that on this type of camera, nobody expects to have a 4K in 4:2 10 bits.
Yeah.
And we will actually be able to record, just like in GH5, 4K 4:2 10 bits up to 30p. And then we can record up to 60p, but not in 10 bits. And we will also have a raw output. And on the raw module, I think it's still under study, but the idea is to have a full raw sensor, like a 5.7K raw picture, but also a crop in the sensor to have a real 4K raw picture up to 60p. So this could be interesting. And
you will need a raw module for that, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the raw. It will probably not be a Panasonic module, but just like for the Varicam LT, we have the Atomos or the Convergent Design recorder. Probably.
So still we are a few months before the real launch of the product, and the first working samples are going to be available in summertime, and of course for Europe it's going to be IBC. And we are working now closely with third-party companies to develop a full set of accessories to be available once the product is on the market. So you can expect to have a full kit ready once the camera is available.
Right. And availability, you said it will also be available around IBC time, September? Or?
So at the moment we are seeing autumn 2017. So it's going to be probably around IBC or a bit later.
Yeah.
And but it's anyhow the working samples are going to be already available for playing around IBC timing.
I think it's also a bold step in general with the Varicam line and the EVA1 to have an EF mount, because it's obviously for a long time we were all Panasonic was and Olympus, you locked yourself into the Micro Four Thirds, which is great for what it is, because it's a very, very compact system, the GH4, GH5. But on the other hand, the market really wanted the Super 35mm, and everybody was wondering, what are you going to do, because you don't have the mount. So I think it's really nice that the EF mount now is in Panasonic cameras, because it's such a universally available mount. I mean, you can get almost any lens with an EF mount these days, and it's high end enough to put cinema glass on it, but it's also low end enough to put photo lenses on it. So that's, I think, a good move. What do you? I mean, what are your expectations now? I mean, the market is changing very rapidly. What are your hopes where the product will go?
That's true. The market is changing rapidly, and there are some new announcements now around Cinegear. But we are very confident that with the product as it is, the concept itself and the specs, that we have the camera on the market. That is actually the camera that is going to be available soon. And actually we are happy that we have a nice, strong competitor.
Yes. Is it kind of feature locked already, or are you still taking feedback here, because it will only be introduced in fall? I mean, in terms of the exact, software and firmware and stuff like that.
But the specifications are. I mean, we will talk about the specifications that are 100% sure, but then there are some. We plan to have some firmware upgrade for the RAW, for example, for the high frame rate, and maybe for the mount, it is possible that we have also a PL mount or some other mounts that we can change without an adapter. It's still under study, but it's
interesting.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, that's one of the problems of the EF mount, that you can't really adapt it to PL, right?
Yeah.
So you would have to change the entire mount. Yeah.
And we have also some other nice feature. I'm checking on my iPhone, because I still don't know everything. Yeah, we have electronic image stabilizer. So it's a stabilization, but done because we have a sensor with a lot of pixels, so we can have some stabilization process without creating too much damage to the picture. We also have infrared filter that can be removed directly from a button.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
this is interesting, because with the VariCam LT we had the possibility to remove the filter, but you had to unmount the mount, and then
it's usually a one-way
some people
process,
wants to. I mean, you cannot try on off and see how it looks. So now with the EVA, you can just with it's motor driven, so just with a button you can.
So like an ND filter, basically.
Exactly, like an ND filter, yes. Then
it's kind of unique, yeah.
Yeah.
You also, I saw the camera does not have a built-in EVF, which is a bold move on one hand. On the other hand, most built-in EVFs are quite terrible anyway at this size of camera. So
we have a LCD. Yeah. I think it's the same touch panel as the GH5.
Yes.
It's a 3.5-inch LCD, and we will have maybe it will not be shown like this on the booth, but we will have a hood to have like a real viewfinder.
Yeah.
But this is what I mentioned. We are working now. We are working now closely to the third-party providers. So once it's on the market, people can also choose their best way of shooting with the camera.
Yeah.
And the output, we have a standard SDI output for the viewfinder, and we can put any viewfinder available on the market.
Does it come with one or two SDIs?
It has one SDI
and one HDMI.
And one HDMI, and you can use both simultaneously. And I think it's a 6G SDI.
Yeah. What's also interesting, I saw the camera records an SDXC card.
Yes.
How do you manage to get that amount of data onto an SD card?
It's a UHS2 standard for the SD card. And our recording system in 4K, it will be, the bitrate will be 400 megabits per second. Intra-frame, 4K intra-frame for 2 to 10 bits. It's like 4 times AVC intra. And this bitrate can be handled easily by the new card.
Oh, interesting.
SD card.
I mean, that's great, of course, for users because those cards are
low cost,
comparatively cheap.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that a lot of your competitors have, where, especially in the beginning when new cameras come out, the media is usually extremely expensive. So this will not be the case here, which is nice.
And it's still a very reliable media. I mean, compared to compact flash or SD means secure data. It's there is a controller in the card that can control what goes in and out and correct the mistakes. I mean the errors, etc. So it's I mean the most secured affordable media.
Interesting. So fun times ahead. Really looking forward to using and testing this camera on Cinema 5D. And yeah, I think we are about to arrive at Paramount Studios. Our destination, Cinegear, is about to start. And thanks for being on the show. It's really nice.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cinema 5D.
You're welcome. And thanks everybody for watching this episode of Cinema 5D On The Go. Stay tuned to Cinema 5D for another episode of On The Go next week, and also all things camera news and reviews. Thanks for watching.